Good morning, my friends. In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So today, we're going to be reading Mr. Sherman's Cloud. And it seems like we have a little visitor with us. Hi, Cookie. Say hi to my students. She's not very happy. So, Mr. Sherman's Cloud, written and illustrated by Habonink. Mr. Sherman reluctantly opened his tired eyes. He squirmed down into his bed, twisting and turning until he fell right onto the floor. Just great, he grumbled. Another lousy day. Suddenly, the room began to get dark, and above his head, Mr. Sherman heard a rumble. Ploink, ploink, ploink. He looked up, and there above him in his bedroom was a gray, grumbling rain cloud. The rain started slowly. With each raindrop, Mr. Sherman's mood worsened. Soon it began to pour, drenching him and everything else near him. All day long, wherever Mr. Sherman went, the cloud came too. No matter what he did, he just could not seem to get rid of it. The rain began to soak the people around Mr. Sherman too, but they didn't seem to be nearly as bothered by it as he was One person even offered him an umbrella. That's no use, he complained, pushing the umbrella away. This day is ruined. Off he sloshed with the cloud following above him. Oh, Mr. Sherman sure is cranky. All alone, Mr. Sherman looked gloomily at the river of rainwater leading back down the street. It flowed past the markets and bus stops, through the park, and all the way back into his house. Some people stepped into the water, and clouds started to form above their heads too. But to Mr. Sherman's surprise, their clouds didn't darken or rain, just a brief bit of shade, and then they were gone. Over here you can see the little tiny clouds that formed above other people's heads, but they didn't turn into Mr. Sherman's cloud. All of a something drifted between Mr. Sherman's shoes. "Ahoy, matey! Look out!" chirped a voice. That's it, Mr. Sherman fumed as he punched and kicked at the growing puddle of water. "Sorry about your hat," said the little girl, holding it out. "Too bad it's not a pirate's hat," said the boy in the cape, who chimed in. "We're pirates today, and we sure could use another member in our crew." "Yeah, it's the best day ever to be a pirate," added the last pirate. Oh, do you think this made Mr. Sherman happy or more cranky? Oh. Let's find out. "Best day ever?" scoffed Mr. Sherman. "This rain cloud has been soaking me all day." "Whoa, shiver me timbers," one pirate exclaimed. "You mean this is your rain cloud?" "Well, yes, I guess so," replied Mr. Sherman. They gasped, staring up at the rain cloud. "Hooray for the rain!" they cheered. They helped Mr. Sherman to his feet and smothered him in a hug. Then, as quickly as they appeared, they ran off, splashing after their toys that had floated away. Mr. Sherman stood there, stunned and sopping. "Thanks for the rain?" Do you guys think those kids changed Mr. Sherman's perspective? Mr. Sherman watched the rain drip off his hat onto the ground and noticed something small, something beautiful. At his feet, yellow flowers soaked up the rain and reached towards the sun. All around him, the world was looking fresh and new. Maybe things aren't so bad after all, he thought to himself. The rain began to stop, and the clouds started to shrink. Looking up at where the cloud had been, Mr. Sherman squinted at the bright sky. Maybe I just needed a little bit of a storm to help me see the sunshine, he considered, as he sloshed happily down the street. Rain or shine, today is going to be a great day. The end. And that was Mr. Sherman's Cloud. I hope you guys all had a really wonderful week. I will see you next week with more story times. I love and miss you all.